Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to play with ChatGPT and understand its way of solving aptitude questions. It will not only help us to get a keen understanding into artificial intelligence's nature, but it will also give us a chance to have a conversation with ChatGPT. This will be a give and take. So today I have chosen a very interesting puzzle which I am going to ask to GPT-4. In the process, we will get to learn where GPT makes mistakes and where it is right. It will not only help us to understand the solution of this aptitude problem, but this will also help us to explore many different ways of tackling similar questions. In the first example, so here is the question. A chess king is placed on a 8x8 chessboard. It has to make 64 moves, visiting each square only once, and to return there where it started. The path has to be with no intersections. For a loop, one can count the total number of horizontal plus vertical moves. Let's call this number m. Give an example of at least one such loop. Give an example of a loop with the largest possible m. Give an example of a loop with m is equal to 28. Prove that 28 is the smallest possible m. So I have asked this question to ChatGPT and here's what I got. In the example of a loop section, what it did is that it started at the square 1, 1. It moved horizontally till 1, 8, then moved vertically to 2, 8, then 3, 8 till 8, 8. Then it moved horizontally to 8, 1 and then from 8, 1 to 1, 1. So this path it has written has visited all the squares once and forms a loop, which is wrong. Which is obviously wrong because in this it visited only the squares of the border edges and not all the squares in this chessboard. So this is the first mistake that ChatGPT made in this solution. Now let's proceed further. Example of a loop with the largest possible m. Here it started at 1, 1, moved horizontally along the first row to 1, 8, then moved down to second row 2, 8. From there it moved to 2, 1 and from there to 3, 1. It moved horizontally to the right along the third row to 3, 8 and it continued this zigzag pattern until it reached 8, 1 and then it moved back to 1, 1 completing the loop. Now in this loop it is mentioned that it made total 63 steps, but it is again wrong because it intersected. It touched the squares of the first column twice and not once. This is the mistake it made here. Then I asked it that in this answer shouldn't the maximum steps for loop be 64 instead of 63? And then it corrected itself and said yes, the maximum steps should be 64 and not 63. As you can see, it has changed the movements. Then it said that the total steps, the maximum number of steps will be 70. So I asked it another question. I asked if in the example of the loop there are 70 moves, then that should be the maximum value of m instead of 63. It again corrected itself and said that you're right. Now there are 64 total moves, which is the correct answer, which is the correct maximum number of moves. So as you can see, it took 3 attempts to give out the correct maximum number of moves while not covering all the squares in the chessboard. And it said that it will cover all the squares in the chessboard, but it did not do so. So this is again an error from ChatGPT's side. So this was my today's conversation with ChatGPT. It made many mistakes, did many things right too. But the important thing here is that the conversation was very fruitful. Not only did we get the keen insights on this aptitude problem, but we also learned from this conversation that how to tackle new situations of this kind and similar other problems. Thank you.